Thank you. My name is Raul Fulea. I'm an MRes student, as a master's student funded by CIMA, and I'm going to do my PhD afterwards in a few months, again studying joints. Now, my presentation is entitled The Changes in Our Joints with Age, and I'm going to briefly discuss some key aspects of that, together with some background knowledge to be able to reach, in a way, the level that we're describing today. So the questions that I'll be answering during my presentation are, what's my work interest, and actually why do it? Why study human joints at all? I originally come from Romania, a country in Eastern Europe, and I've come here to study biomedical science at Bradford University. Having an interest in biomedical research, I received a PhD, an MRes and PhD studentship from CIMA to study the cartilage during aging at Newcastle University. So this is the reason for why I'm here today. Now, to be able to understand all the things that were discussed today, I thought that the best way to describe it is perhaps through a cartoon, an animation. And so everyone, I think, has seen the double helix of the DNA. Now, this double helix, we'll have it in all cells, as the other ones have touched, which are like composing the whole human body. But the real question is that since we have the same DNA in all our cells now, how does the cell know exactly how to switch to a heart cell or a skin cell? Now, this is where epigenetics, as Sarah described, comes into play. They tell the cell to switch off or on either genes, and even after we're born, this still acts upon us through environmental factors, either by living in a city or closer to nature, either through our diets or our activities such as smoking. These all interact with us to switch either the genes on or off through chemical modifications, as again Sarah mentioned, called methylations. Now, this is basically like a very molecular light switch, where they could just turn on and off the genes as a consequence towards the environment. But this is all still a bit unclear as to everything, what really is, what DNA is, what these modifications really mean. And in more simple terms, I think I could describe all this as the DNA is the blueprints for life, for our life. This, together with the interactions from our environment, makes us unique, and everyone develops differently due to this partly, and also due to our DNA. So everything that we are thanks to the genes that we have and also the environment that we live in. The work that's carried in my group is mainly focused on aging. As we know, after a certain age, we start to see some improvements as increase in wisdom, but we also have certain let's call them negative aspects, as we get some diseases. Now, there are many that suffer from this. Joint pains. It's mostly caused by a degradation of the cartilage. And as you can see on the skin here, you have the cartilage as this white matter, and you have the bone here. And the cartilage covers the bone, and so it protects the bones from rubbing against each other. Now, in osteoarthritis, this cartilage erodes away. And we are starting to determine exactly what causes this. But the effect of this is that the bones start touching each other. And so every movement becomes very painful. And this, together with inflammation, gets everything into a very vicious cycle that's very unhealthy and may lead to debilitating conditions. But now, there's great news about this, as in we are studying this, and we are trying to understand all this and how it comes into play. We are particularly focused on joints, but as it was previously mentioned, we are not just looking at the cartilage as the only tissue. We also look at bone, we look at the fat pad, ligaments, all the other tissues that are based on the joint, that now we are starting to uncover that they also suffer some modifications when the cartilage wears off. Now, we are working with some of the best people in the world in the field on this problem. We're collaborating with big universities. There's a lot of money invested into it. And it's really that we all come together as a group and start to analyze all this to see whether we can improve something, whether we could understand something. Because that's the main reason for doing all of this in reality. And now, I will come to a summary for my presentation, and that is, in simple words, I study the joints, the human joints. There are many types of joints in the human body, and as you can see from the diagram, I'm mainly focused on knees, hips, and sometimes the joints in our hands, from the fingers and so. But as I said, the research that I'm doing has a purpose for it. And that purpose is to understand the mechanisms that go either wrong in some cases, and so contrast them with the healthy and unhealthy, to be able to finally reach a treatment for this. The reason for why we need to reach a treatment is that we can improve the lifestyle of everyone that suffers from this, and possibly one day not have everyone that will suffer from this. So this is through great work that we come to an understanding, we act upon it, and we improve their lifestyle and make everyone happier. So thank you very much for listening.